Hello and welcome to another booktube video from me, Lauren, from Lauren and the Books. It's been a while, hasn't it? Thank you to everyone who sent me a lovely message, either on here or on Instagram, saying, hope everything's okay with you. Things were not okay. David's dad has been extremely unwell and in hospital, but yesterday we think we had a bit of a turning point, didn't we? He's still in hospital, but he's doing much better, so thank you so much for all your well wishes. And if I disappear in the near future for a little bit more, it's because I'm just there, being there for my family and stuff like that. But yeah, things are looking good. You're okay, David?
I'm okay.
He's okay, and yeah, yesterday was a real big turning point for us all, so thank you again. But today's video, we're going to be doing the first line battle. You've been here before, this is the third time we've done this, so I'll be picking a book to go on my TBR for next month. And the way I do it is I pick a book from each colour, so we go through the red books, the orange books, the yellow books, the green books, the blue books, and then down to the books that you cannot see, but purple, pink, sort of peach, white, grey and black, and we pick a book from each of those and read the first line, and I battle them against each other and say which is the best first line, and in the end the book that wins we keep on for my TBR for next month. I've got little thumb holes in my jumper and it's making me feel really like I'm strange when I'm doing this. Right, okay, so as I said, this is the third month, so we're now going to the third book in each thing. So we'll go 1, 2, 3. If I'm not picking a book, it's because it's a sequel and I haven't read the first book, or it's because I've read it already, because I'm trying to read books that I haven't read already. So we go 1, 2, 3, The Book of Dust by Philip Pullman. I've already read that and it's a sequel. Double whammy. So we move on to the next one. So the first book we've got is Brown Girl Like Me by Jaspreet Kaur, and it says the essential guidebook and manifesto for South Asian girls and women. Let's have a look at the first line. I will read more than the first line if the first line is just one word, but this, luckily, is not one word. So it says, introduction, seen and unseen. Sundays would always mean one thing in my house when I was a kid. And I've literally read ahead to the next bit, which was hair wash day. And let me tell you, when I was a kid, hair wash day was always Sunday as well. And maybe Wednesday if I was having a particularly grubby week. So yeah, there we go. I will hang on to this because this is the first one we picked, so that wins. Then we can move on to the orange books, 1, 2, 3. Feminism Interrupted. We did that last time, so we're going to move on to the next one. Then the next one is The Shadows of Men by Abir Mukherjee. That is a sequel. So we'll move on to the next one, which is Ophelia After All by Raquel Marie. I think this is a retelling. What's that Shakespeare play that Ophelia's in? Maybe it's not, but I've got a feeling it is. Here we go. Ophelia After All 1. The fabric of my lilac gown brushes my bare legs, sending shivers of delightful anticipation up my arms. That's fine, but I prefer the first day, the Sunday being about hair wash day. So I'm going to pop that one back. We're on to the yellows now. 1, 2, 3. Barchester Towers by Anthony Trollope. That is a sequel. Then The Return of Fares Ali, which is one we've already read before. As I've already read the first line of Wildcard, so these are both books that I've used in the previous month. So the next one is Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden. Let's have a look. Oh, that's acknowledgement, so we won't read that. So it says here, before spring 1940, Jude was dead. That's a very good first line, isn't it? That has pulled me in more than Brown Girl Like Me. So we're going to stick with Sugar by Bernice L. McFadden. Then we're on to the green books, 1, 2, 3. In the Lives of Puppets. This book's not even out yet. It's out in April next, as in next April. No, as in next month, April. So that would be very exciting if I was to read that the same month that it's out. But let's see if the first line beats Jude was dead. In an old and lonely forest, far away from almost everything, sat a curious dwelling. In an old and lonely forest, far away from almost everything, sat a curious dwelling. That has intrigued me. Yeah, I'm going to go for that. So In the Lives of Puppets by T.J. Klune. I've only recently hauled this book, so I know that this is a queer retelling of Pinocchio, I think with like robots and stuff, so there we go. But anyway, this may not win. We're on to the blue books. 1, 2, 3. That's That's Enough by Harriet Johnson. We read the first line of that last month, so we'll go on to the next one, which is Writers and Lovers by Lily King. Oh, I've got a feeling I might have... Oh no, I haven't. I thought I'd already read the first line of this, but I haven't. I have a pact with myself not to think about money in the morning. I have a pact with myself not to think about money in the morning. Yeah, this is still winning. The Curious Dwelling. The Curious Dwelling. Let me re-familiarise myself with it, but it's something about a curious dwelling, isn't it? In an old and lonely forest, far away from almost everything, sat a curious dwelling. That's very good. Right, on to the purples. 1, 2, 3. Oh, it's A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. I've got a feeling there might be some problems with this book, because I think this sort of, and I don't know because I haven't read it, but I think it might sort of like celebrate a little bit. Tell me if this is right or if it's wrong. Sort of, does it celebrate colonialism a little bit? I don't know. Let's have a look. The first chapter is called Sarah. Front cover, by the way, is absolutely beautiful. Once on a dark winter's day, when the yellow fog hung so thick and heavy in the streets of London that the lamps were lighted and the shop windows blazed with gas as they do at night, an odd-looking little girl sat in a cab with her father and was driven rather slowly through the big thoroughfares. Well, that's bloody lovely. Yeah, that, I mean, hopefully there's, I can't remember if there's issues with this, but we'll hang on to that. That has well beaten that curious dwelling. That was lovely. I'm going to go for it again because it was so nice. 1, Sarah. I feel like I might have seen the film of this when I was younger. Once on a dark winter's day, when the yellow fog hung so thick and heavy in the streets of London that the lamps were lighted and the shop windows blazed with gas as they do at night, an odd-looking little girl sat in a cab with her father and was driven rather slowly through the big thoroughfares. Bloody gorgeous. Right, number 3, 1, 2, 3 in Pinkland. Oh, David bought me this book for Christmas a few years ago. This is Backwards in Heels, The Past, Present and Future of Women Working in Films by Alicia Malone, who is a film reporter and critic. It is difficult with non-fiction books because they don't have quite the old grabby first lines as fiction books do. So here we go, introduction. I'll read the little quote and then we'll move on to the first line. So, introduction. After all, Ginger Rogers did everything that Fred Astaire did. She just did it backwards and in high heels, said Anne Richards. When I think back to my childhood, growing up in the suburban capital of Canberra, Australia, my memories are patchy at best. Yeah, like I said, first lines in non-fiction books aren't always great, so unfortunately, it probably didn't really stand much of a chance. So there we go. Then we're on to sort of like the peachy coloured one. So 1, 2, 3, White Oleander is that one, but we read the first line of that last month. So we're going to move on to 7 by Fazana Doctor. This says 1, April 2016, Mumbai. I take a cautious sip. I mean, that is intriguing, but I still think that lovely setting in London in the winter sounds good. Right. 1, 2, 3 in white. Ghost Wall by Sarah Moss. I've already read that, so we'll move on to the next one. Oh, this is Dance Move by Wendy Erskine. This came out last February. If I remember rightly, I had potentially thought about putting this on my TBR for March this month because of the Irish Readathon, but I didn't end up doing it because I think it's short stories. So again, I wonder how this will, because this is going to be for one story in the book. The story is called Mathematics. It said, the drawer beside Roberta's bed contained remnants of other people's fun. A small mother-of-pearl box inlaid with gold, a lipstick that was with a stripe of fuchsia, a lucky charm in the shape of a $sign. I mean, I am intrigued by that. I'm going to go for it again because I stumbled a bit. The drawer beside Roberta's bed contained remnants of other people's fun. A small mother-of-pearl box inlaid with gold, I'm not reading that right, am I? The drawer beside Roberta's bed contained remnants of other people's fun. A small mother-of-pearl box inlaid with gold, a lipstick that was a stripe of fuchsia, a lucky charm in the shape of a $sign. I am intrigued by that. Am I as intrigued as this? I think this is lovely. On a dark winter's day when the yellow fog hung so thick and heavy in the streets of London. Yeah, I still think it's a little princess holding it, but that put up a good fight. Old Dance Move by Wendy Erskine. Right, we're on to the last 2 books. So, Grey, 1, 2, 3, Ship of Theseus. Oh, this is one that I've borrowed off of my cousin Laura. So this is a bit of a confusing one. So this is written by V.M. Stracker, but actually it's written by J.J. Abrams. David, what does J.J. Abrams do? J.J. Abrams?
J.J. Abrams, he's done like Star Trek.
Did he do Buffy?
I don't know, he might.
I think he might have been the Buffy man, but like, yeah. So he's written this alongside Doug Dorst, and it is. I'm gonna have to show you because it really is something else. You might well be aware of this. This was a pretty big deal, but yeah. So it's this book, which is supposed to be like a library book, and then within it, it's a book, and then it's all got sort of like these notes that the authors have also written, with sort of like pieces of paper insert, and I think it's a bit of a mystery. And I borrowed this from my cousin Laura once. It's very multimedia and exciting. Look, there's a postcard from Brazil there, and that'll have clues and stuff like that. So yeah, it's a big read, and I really would like to give it a good go. But yeah, so I guess I start, so although this is the first page which doesn't have any font on it, it's got writing between the two people that are also sort of analysing this, so I'll read that out. It says, if found, please return to the workroom, B19, main library, Pollard State University. Hey, I found your stuff while I was shelving. I mean, we're going, this whole concept sounds amazing, but the first line, hey, I found your stuff while I was shelving, that's not doing all that much for me, so it's not going to win. And then the last book, 1, 2, 3, is Our Missing Hearts by Celestine. Will It Be a Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Here we go. The letter arrives on a Friday. Again, a good first line, but it's still this. So the book that will be being added to my TBR for next month is A Little Princess by Frances Hodgson Burnett. Hopefully it's not problematic. I don't know why I think it is. There's just something in the back of my head that thinks maybe it is. Let's read the blurb a little bit, and then we'll read about Frances Hodgson Burnett, and we will finish with the first line again. So it says, alone in a new country, wealthy Sarah Crewe tries to make friends at boarding school and settle in. But when she learns that she'll never see her beloved father again, her life is turned upside down. Transformed from princess to pauper, will Sarah find the kindness and generosity are all the riches she needs? I mean, maybe not. It's got an introduction by Scarlett Curtis, which is very exciting. And then about Frances Hodgson Burnett, it says she was born in England in 1849 and emigrated with her mother and siblings to America when she was a teenager. She was determined, talented and unconventional, and rose from poverty to become a rich and famous writer, unusual in the days when women rarely worked. She is best remembered for her children's books, including, Little Lloyd Fauntleroy and The Secret Garden. And we'll know both of, well, I used to have a video of Secret Garden when I was younger, and I used to read it all the time. Let's read the first line once more. 1. Sarah. Once on a dark winter's day when the yellow fog hung so thick and heavy in the streets of London that the lamps were lighted and the shop windows blazed with gas as they do at night, an odd-looking girl sat in a cab with her father and was driven rather slowly through the big thoroughfares. Yeah, that does sound great. So that's being added to the TBR for next month. Let me know any of the first lines from these books that you would have been interested in reading. Thanks again for all your lovely love and support. And yeah, I'll see you all again soon for another BookTube video. Goodbye.